Marshal Earp disliked working with the posse, and he avoided it when he could. But news that the San Bernardino gang had crossed from California into Arizona territory and were heading toward Old Mexico left Wyatt no choice. It would take many extra men to cover canyons and trails and make a fight against the San Bernardinos.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
When our famous Marshal Wyatt Earp came into the bank that morning, I stopped my work to take a good look at him. I guess it was just plain hero worship. I don't know why a bank clerk like me should have admired Wyatt Earp so much. He was a tough man, wearing guns, and I couldn't have envied him his job or the dangerous life he led.
Marshal Earp, this is Ollie Smith.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do, Mr. Smith? Happy to know you.
I think Smith was on the wrestling team or something like that in college, eh, Smith?
No, sir. I boxed and played some rugby football.
Can you shoot a gun?
Well, I shot some quail and some rabbits with a 12-gauge.
I wish the bank had someone more experienced.
Mr. Smith will do fine. Real fine. You get into your hunting clothes and be over at my office at noon, huh?
What the...
Marshal's organizing a posse. Catch a gang called San Bernardino boys headed for the Mexican border. Of course, we're assuming you'll volunteer. But if you don't want to go...
No, sir. I'll be glad to go.
Good. Mr. Bradshaw would like the bank represented.
Mike Noonan. He's day boss out at the Tough Nut Mine.
Scratch him. He hasn't ridden a horse in years.
Jim Biggs, ramrod of the R-30.
Biggs. Hey, Doc, what do you think of Biggs, R-30?
Pretty fair hand.
Who's next?
A fellow by the name of Arlie Smith, over at the Tombstone Bank.
Smith. He's a greener, but I like his looks.
Just so he doesn't spook on us.
Or get himself killed.
Well, I'll let him drive the chuck wagon. Who's next?
Special Agent Dale, Southern Pacific.
He's a good man.
Yeah. Judd and Tompkins, Santa Fe. Both of them special agents, too.
Yeah.
All packed? I won't need my shaving things, huh?
You don't know what you'll need. You don't know anything at all about this posse business.
Well, I'll get told. Wyatt Earp will see to that. There's nothing to cry about, Martha.
He didn't need you.
If he didn't, he wouldn't have asked me.
Arlie, you'll get hurt.
I have to go, Martha. The bank expects it of me. And I expect it of myself.
I'm sorry. Go on. Get started now.
That's my girl.
You'll be all right here with Mrs. Williams.
I'll be back in a day or so.
Now, you're carrying your own Winchester and a Colt 45. You're gonna need a good saddle for a long haul. You tell Mr. Gibbs to fix you up, Mr. Jennings. Mr. McNerney?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Holliday says that you know the Santa Cruz River country between Madero and Nogales.
Yes, sir. I've been hunting down there for 15 years or more.
Good. You take this Army map and lay out a trail for us, huh?
Yes, sir. Marshal, we need plenty of 45 cartridges, too.
We got it. Put it in the box, huh? Now, I've decided to split the posse into 3 groups, Dr. Holliday, Mr. Gibbs, and myself. Is that all right with you?
That suits me, sir.
I think the railroad men ought to split up, one go with each group. You all know the San Bernardinos by sight.
They sure do.
All right, load up.
Let's go, boys.
Smith, sir. I'm from the bank.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Smith. Can you drive a team of horses?
Well, I'm not an expert.
Well, you won't have to be. Dr. Holliday will be riding on a chuck wagon with you most of the time. You better trade that quail grunt in for a sawed-off shotgun. Load it with buckshot.
Yes, sir.
The ammunition's already loaded. You'll be responsible for that and the canteens.
Anything else, Marshal?
I almost forgot. Dr. Goodfellow's loading up the medical kit. You go on over to the hospital and pick it up.
Yes, sir.
Relax, Sonny. We got a lot of miles to go yet.
These horses sure seem to know I'm a greener. Loafing on me.
Well, you are a greener.
I can't deny that. You know, I'm still wondering why Marshal Earp chose me, anyway.
It's a matter of keeping discipline.
How's that?
My young friend, nobody but a greener or a cook will drive a chuck wagon.
They won't, huh?
Don't let it break your heart, Sonny. Just think of yourself as a living sacrifice to our overwhelming Western pride. In return, Deacon Earp, Shotgun Gibbs, and I will try to make sure that you're not a dead sacrifice. Ooh, slow them down.
Oh, boy, oh. Oh, boy, oh.
Easy, easy.
You getting the hang of it, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Come on up, will you, Doc?
Trouble up there, Wyatt?
I run into a couple strangers. They claim to be special agents for Southern Pacific.
What do Dale, Judd, and Tompkins say?
Well, Dale doesn't know them. Gonna check with the others. You stay here, Mr. Smith.
Well, it didn't exactly break my heart to discover why Earp had picked me to drive the chuck wagon. But I felt disappointed. I guess I had expected to be galloping a horse in a swirl of dust with 245s in my gun belt.
Halt! Halt! He's mine! Hold it! Watch that gun!
It's not hit bad. Go get the medical kit. How many Sambadouras in those mountains?
More than you got, Johnny Law.
Where are they?
You find them.
A couple of men put them in the chuck wagon. Mr. Gibbs?
Come on.
Your detail's gonna have to bury the other one. If you do that, come on back and guard the chuck wagon. The rest of us will go on ahead.
Boys,
Boys, grab them shovels. Give me a hand.
Come on up.
Mr. Earp,
Yeah?
will you tell me what happened?
All right, Mr. Smith. A couple of Sambadouras tried to pose themselves as railroad detectives to throw us off the trail. The other one's dead. You go give the boys a hand.
Water. 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 Water.
I guess it's all right.
Cut that out, son. If you don't talk, you don't get no water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gibbs. I didn't know.
Boys! Boys! We'll head on out for the first camp. Wyatt and the rest of them will meet us there. You get this here wagon moving. Just follow me and Roscoe.
Well, Mr. Gibbs, shouldn't somebody lick the prisoner? He might be bleeding or something.
Well, that's up to him. He could talk and save us a heap of trouble. He probably figures maybe some of his friends will bushwhack us. Let's go. All right, let's move out.
Find the trail, sir?
Yes, we did. We'll probably head for the Santa Cruz River. Means we gotta cross Razor's Back. It's a rough road. Mr. Gibbs will drive until we make camp.
Yes, sir.
How's our prisoner?
Well, he keeps asking for water, but Mr. Gibbs said not to give him any.
That's right. When he gets thirsty enough, he'll talk.
Well, how many boys you figure they got?
Oh, not more than a dozen in the main party. But they may have split up.
You think they'll turn on us?
Not before dark. And keep those horses at a walk.
I'm burning up. I need some water.
You ready to talk?
I don't know nothing.
Well, then you stay thirsty. Good mouth.
Here I, boy!
Rest easy, son. There ain't gonna be no bushwhack along here.
What makes you so certain, Mr. Gibbs?
Well, bushwhackers need easy running room. Besides, Roscoe ain't even brayed once.
You mean Roscoe would warn us?
Well, sure he would. That there mule can smell trouble a half a mile away.
Well, the Sambadures could just be right up there waiting to pick us off with rifles.
Them outlaws ain't fools.
What do you mean?
Well, Wyatt always tries to figure what he'd do if he is an outlaw. Them there Sambadures hit us. It'll happen tonight when we're camped on the Lizard. What's left of them can run downhill to the river.
Mr. Earp is an intelligent man.
Smartest John Law ever I met up with. Of course, he'd been dead a long time ago if he wasn't extra bright. Who along, boy?
Water.
Mr. Smith, bring me that canteen.
Water. No fooling.
You ready to talk?
Talk. No.
We can wait.
Mr. Earp. That was rather cruel, wasn't it?
Hunting outlaws is a cruel business, Mr. Smith. The Sambadoo gang murdered 17 people in California. You give them the chance, they'll wipe us out.
Yes.
You get yourself some supper. You come back here and stand guard duty until midnight. The Sambadooers may decide to hunt us.
Watch it.
Oh, Marshal Earp.
That gun cocked?
Yes, it is.
Lower the hammers. Easy.
We don't carry our guns cocked, Mr. Smith. A man could stumble and hurt himself or shoot a friend.
Yes, sir.
Now, you turn in and get some sleep. Mr. Gibbs will take over.
Is it midnight yet, sir?
Just about.
Oh, Marshal, if it's just the same to you, I'd like to stand the full watch.
Watch it! Keep down! Hold your fire!
Shotgun, take the left draw. Doc, take the center. I'll take the right.
Sir, coming in with 2 prisoners. Lie down.
So lie down.
Where's Smith? Keep an eye on them.
Well, boys, look what we got here.
Never do, boy. Mr. Earp.
It's me. Thought you were gonna watch the chuck wagon.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, but I got scared and ran away.
All right. Go on back to camp. Go on.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Deacon? Deacon?
Yeah?
So far, we've killed 5 and captured 3. I suppose it has occurred to you that there are San Badua scattered all over these mountains.
Just have to take them as we find them, Doc.
My pals didn't make it, huh?
No, they didn't.
I won't talk to John Law, but I'll talk to you. I gotta have some water.
You'll talk first.
Dice Box Canyon. That's what Turk Higgins and most of the boys is camped. Now, water. For Lord's sakes, give me some water.
All right. Hey, not so much at once. You won't keep it down.
Mr. Smith! I told you not to give him any
He
water.
talked. The main gang is in a place called Dice Box Canyon.
All right, give him all the water he wants. That's what I'm up against, Mr. Smith. The men are brave enough, they just don't want to ride into that canyon blind.
I didn't think you knew what they felt.
It's my job to know what every man in a posse feels.
Say, why don't you let me go in there and take a look around?
You?
Sure, I'm the logical choice. Well, if I'm caught, they take me for what I am, a greener, not a John Law. You could fix me up with some pots and pans and shovels, and I'd look like a greenhorn prospect.
There's quite a risk to it.
I won't run out on you this time, Mr. Earp.
You've done your running, Mr. Smith. I'd bet on that.
Thank you, Marshal. I think it was Mr. Earp's idea all along, but he didn't want to suggest it on account of Martha. I'm sure he wanted to give me this chance to make up for last night.
Marshal, we better hurry. They're breaking camp. They might be gone.
How many of them?
Only about 10 men, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Doc, we'll go in by foot. Spread across the canyon. Mr. Gibbs, you take 2 men and Mr. Biggs form a second line in case they try to ride over us.
He aims to take them all alive.
I sure do. It's a lot easier than digging graves for them. Well, let's move on. We're short on time.
Marshal Earp, if you don't mind, I'd like to go along.
You stay here and watch the horses and the prisoners.
Yes.
Lot to do about nothing, kid. Turk and the boys already got away.
How's for some water, kid?
Not until it's over.
Hurry him up.
Four men dead.
Gibson, I didn't do it.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm digging for a slug.
Not with a dirty knife, you're not. Mr. Smith, you do it. Use a probe and a forceps.
Yes, sir.
Well, come on, boy. Start digging.
Where's Gibbs? He went with Marshal Earp to guard the prisoners digging graves.
Surprised Wyatt didn't try to do it by himself.
Well, they're coming back now.
Get off that leg. Ride in the wagon.
Yeah, I believe we will.
Get up there. You need some water? Not right now. Let's get out of here. It's bad country after dark.
We were all too tired to talk, but I kept watching Marshal Earp at the head of the posse and thinking of the job he'd done. He went into the mountains and he broke up the San Bernardino gang before they could escape to Mexico. He was under fire 3 times. I kept thinking, where and how do we find men like him? And what keeps him risking his life in such a job as this?
Just a moment. Arlie! Arlie, honey. Oh, thank God. Look, tell me what happened. Why are you so quiet?
Marshal Earp, you had him all wrong.
Wrong?
You know, he says if he ever needs another posse, he'll be glad to call on me. Think of that. Me riding with Wyatt Earp.
It became necessary, as it often did for Wyatt Earp. For behind the masking names were people and their problems.
Hey, son, can I help you?
Maybe, sir. I'm looking for someone.
Oh, come on in, boy. Come on in. Sit down. Now, what seems to be the problem?
I can't seem to find anyone in town that's ever heard of her.
Oh, young lady?
Yes, my fiancée, Miss Evangeline Murphy.
Evangeline Murphy. She live here in Tombstone?
You've never heard of her either. I thought maybe at the newspaper office.
Well, now, wait a minute, son. I don't know everybody in town, especially if she happens to be new here.
Well, she's lived here for years. Came with her father. And he was killed in the mines.
Murphy, huh? Are you sure?
Well, yeah, she wrote me from here not more than a month ago.
What'd she look like?
Well, I have a picture of her. She sent me in one of her letters. You know her?
Yes. So does everybody else in Tombstone, but not by that name. This is Evie Marlowe.
Evie Marlowe?
Maybe the best-known saloon singer in these parts. Certainly the prettiest. Didn't you know about that boy?
No.
You say this is the girl you're engaged to?
Evangeline.
Where'd you hear that name?
Well, you know, I'm Billy Costain.
That's supposed to mean something to me?
I've come to get you like I said I would.
Come to get me?
Well, sure. Didn't you believe me?
Look, handsome, if this is your way of getting to know a girl...
But I do know you from your letters.
I don't know what this is, but you've got the wrong girl.
No. You're Evangeline Murphy, aren't you? I'd know you anywhere from the picture you sent me.
Anybody can have one of these. I sell them for $1. I don't know who sent it to you, but it wasn't me.
You trying to say that you don't want to marry me like you promised?
Marry you? Look, mister, I don't know what kind of game this is, but get out of my way.
Not until you tell me for sure.
You'd better get lost, because here comes the man I am going to marry, and he's not going to like this kind of play.
So that's it.
I'm sorry, but it wasn't me sent you that picture or wrote you letters.
Well, what about the letters I sent you and the money?
Money?
Money to pay your father's debt so that we could get married. That's all I had. I want it back.
Take your hands off me. You didn't have to do that.
This young lady is not public property. Don't forget that.
Sit down. Boy, you want to tell me about it?
A newspaper man spread what a fool I was.
Well, then you should talk to Wyatt Earp.
Wyatt Earp?
He's the marshal in this town.
This is nobody's business but mine. I'm begging your pardon, sir. Not yours. I should have known it was some kind of a trick.
Now, this advertisement appeared in your paper back east, right?
Yes, I can even remember the words. Decent, comely young girl, stranded alone in rough western town. Seeks help and loving protection of decent man. Object, matrimony.
Well, that sounds like me. I was left alone to make my own way.
That's right, Miss Evie. Go on.
I don't know why I even answered. Maybe because I was lonely, too.
You answered this, and the letters began.
And the picture arrived, and I could hardly believe it. She was so beautiful.
Well, I don't think anyone could blame you for being smitten, son. Not even Mr. Duval.
The letters continued?
Yes, and got more and more friendly, and then we became engaged, only...
Only what?
Well, only she said her father had died and left debts, and that she couldn't honorably leave Tombstone until they were paid.
How much?
$500.
And you, sent it, huh?
Plus train fare. Only she didn't come, and I waited, and Then I wrote and told her that I was coming after her.
Well, that's where you surprised whoever did it. You weren't supposed to come all this way out here.
Marshal Earp, this is very strange. My father was killed in the mines, and he did leave debts. Well, you know, that's why I'm still here in Tombstone and working at the Alhambra.
I know, Miss Evie.
Do you suspect me?
Well, as you said, it is very strange. You get one of the letters?
Yes. Here.
Is that postmarked Tombstone, what?
No return address. How did you address your letters?
Just general delivery.
Well, then the postmaster should know who Evangeline Murphy is.
And who picked up the letters? Of course, it's late. He wouldn't be there now.
No. He's probably out to his ranch by now.
I'll go visit him first thing in the morning. There is one man we could talk to right now.
Oh, who's that, White?
Sam Dutton, man who took this picture.
What could Sam Dutton possibly know? He only took this picture. Evie here sells them at the Alhambra.
Well, he might know something.
Well, what? Anybody could have gotten hold of those pictures and sent them. What would Sam Dutton possibly know?
Well, let's go ask him, Mr. Duval. Mr. Dutton?
Why, howdy there, Marshal Earp. Mr. Clem.
Evening, Mr. Dutton.
You, know Miss Marlowe, Mr. Duval?
Howdy, Miss Marlowe.
This young man here is Mr. Bill Costain. I believe you made this picture of Miss Marlowe.
Yes, I think so. Yes, that's mine. Made it about 3 or 4 months ago.
How many of those did you make up for Miss Marlowe?
Why, quite a lot, I think.
Well, you keep records, don't you, Mr. Dutton?
Well, it'd take me a little time to look it up, but as I remember, maybe 100 or more.
That's just like I told you. Anyone could have sent these.
Did you make up another batch for anybody else other than Miss Marlowe?
Why? Why should I?
That's what I'm asking you.
No, that'd be unethical.
Miss Marlowe, you remember giving a large bunch of these pictures to anybody?
No. I don't understand. What are you driving at?
Well, if somebody is pulling a confidence game using your picture as a lure, they would need lots of pictures.
That's right. You see, that ad may be running in a lot of papers back east.
You mean I'm being offered in marriage all over the country?
I think so. There are a lot of Billy Costains, and more may be showing up at any time.
Oh, this is awful.
I'd like to see your records.
Well, I'm sorry, Marshal, but they aren't here. I keep them in my box at the bank for safety.
Well, you have them here tomorrow morning.
Sure. Sure.
Did you, Mr.
He was lying to you, Marshal. I could tell by his eyes.
Maybe.
Well, there's something about the man doesn't set quite right.
Well, if you were to scare him, I bet he'd break down and confess.
Well, now you leave that to me. Understand?
Marshal, I don't blame you for suspecting me. It does look suspicious. But you've got to believe me. And you too. I didn't do this. I couldn't.
You know something, Wyatt? I'm inclined to believe her.
You believe her, Marshal? You think she had anything to do with this?
I hope not, Mr. Costain. But I'll know more by morning.
Who is it?
Marlowe.
I'm glad you come. What am I going to do?
Nothing.
Well, I handle the mail. Nobody can trace it to you.
That's right.
Sure, you can pick up and go whenever things get too hot. I can't. I've got a business.
Don't worry. I'll handle it.
How?
I said I'd handle it, didn't I? Now, where are the books?
What do you want with them?
You want me to help you or not? All right. And where are the books?
They're right here.
That's all I need to know.
All right, hold it.
Huh? Who's there?
Oh, it's you, Mose.
Wyatt. Glad you come along. Need some help.
What are you trying to do?
Get in the post office. What do you think? Only this key don't fit anymore.
You sure the trouble's with the key?
You think I've had a mite too much, don't you?
Well, maybe just a mite.
Guess you're right. That's what I figured the Ripe would think, too. Guess I'll sleep in here tonight, if you help me get in.
Well, I'll help you get in if you answer me a question.
Question?
Mm-hmm. Who's Evangeline Murphy?
Murphy. Vent. General Delivery, that's who.
General Delivery. You ever see her?
Nope.
Well, who picks up the mail?
A man. Gets a raft of it, too.
What man?
The photographer. You know, Sam Dutton. Evangeline Murphy. Funny name for a photographer, ain't it?
Now, you move aside and let me get you in.
Yeah.
Well, now, don't push so much, we'll never get in.
No. Wait a minute. Ooh, right.
There you go. Now, there's your key.
Oh, thanks.
Now, you have a nice rest. You'll feel better tomorrow.
Thanks, boy.
Fire! Fire! This place is on fire! Come on, look at here. Hold on, the place has got burned down.
Oh, yeah. Get your bucket started. Get the right barrel. Let her go.
Why? Shall I get Dr. Goodfellow?
It's too late.
You mean from that fire?
Wasn't killed by the fire. His head's bashed in. He was murdered.
Oh, no. But why?
Maybe someone was just trying to scare him.
You think I did it, don't you, Marshal?
Oh, he couldn't have. He was with me at the Alhambra. We left when we heard them call fire.
Evie, what do you mean he was with you?
He came to hear me sing, and he sat with me. So you see, he couldn't have killed Mr. Dutton.
I know. He had no reason to kill Dutton. Sam was killed to keep him quiet. Now I'm going to have to find out what he knew in another way. And I will. Now, it's more than just a confidence game. It's murder. Mr. Clum?
There's not too much damage, Wyatt. Well, you discovered the fire quick enough to get it out before it got too badly started.
That's good for us. Bad for the murderer.
What are you looking for?
Something the fire was meant to destroy, along with the body.
What?
This?
What are they?
Business records.
Pretty badly charred.
But not completely burnt. I want to take them along with me.
It's time for me to change and go home, I guess. Thank you, Mr. Costain. Thank you for coming to hear me sing.
It's me that should thank you. You're wonderful. I mean, you sing wonderful. And I know that you didn't have anything to do with all this.
Thank you. Poor Billy. He came looking for a wife, found nothing.
I'm not sorry. I just wish I'd come sooner before you and DeVal.
I know. Might have been nice to have been with Angela and Murphy.
To me, you are.
Well, good night, Mr. Costain, and thank you.
I'll wait here in the alley. You shouldn't ought to walk home alone this time of the night.
But...
Well, if DeVal shows up, all right. But I'll wait.
Evie, hurry up. We're getting out.
Getting out?
Yes, getting out of town right now, tonight.
This is DeVal's room.
Sure he didn't come back?
I couldn't have missed him. Do you want me to open it? I always thought Duval was an honest gambler.
No. Gambling's just a front with him.
What's his real business?
This. There.
It's a picture of Evie Milo, isn't it?
Whole box of pictures of Evie Milo.
Why, I don't get it.
Well, DeVal got it. He got plenty. Do me a favor. Take that box of pictures and these letters over to Mr. Gibbs at the jail. I gotta see Miss Marlowe fast.
I'll do it right away.
Tell Mr. Gibbs to be sure and lock him up.
Carl. It's not because of Sam Dutton, is it?
What made you think a thing like that?
You knew all about me. You could have gotten the pictures from Sam.
Evie, you can't think such a thing of me.
No, of course not. I couldn't have agreed to marry you if I thought you were that kind of man.
Of course you couldn't. Look, Evie, I'm sorry about the rush. But it was supposed to be a big surprise for you. There's a wonderful job waiting for me in San Francisco if I just get there in time. But I've got to catch the midnight train out of Benson. Oh, Evie, it is a fine job. And we can settle down and we can have a home. That is what you want, isn't it?
Oh, yes. But we're not married yet. And I'd like to have time to do it right.
All right, we will make it right just as soon as we get to San Francisco.
No, Carl. I'm not sure. Why don't you go to San Francisco first and
Not sure. You were sure enough before that kid came into town today.
That's right. He made me stop and think. And, Carl, I don't think I really love you. I think I was only lonesome, wanting someone to love.
But you're not going to back out on me now. The love can come later on, but we're going out of here tonight. Because I can put you in this just as deep as I am.
What do you mean?
Sam Dutton, that's what I mean.
It was you.
And if I say you were a part of it, who's to say no? Earp already suspects you.
You wouldn't.
Wouldn't I? If you don't go with me now.
I won't do it. I don't care what happens to me, but I want to see you pay for what you've done.
You can't hang you twice, you know.
No, I won't do it.
What can I do for you, Mose?
Now that Sam Dutton's dead and Duvall's in jail, what am I going to do with all of that mail for Evangeline Murphy? Oh, but say, there is an Evangeline in town now.
Is that right?
Yep. Singer down at the Alhambra calling herself Evangeline Marlowe.
Well, not for long. I hear her name is going to soon be changed to Costing.
No.
Yep.
Well, now don't that beat all? Some folks ain't never satisfied.
Judge Wells Spicer of Tombstone was generally regarded as the most fearless judge in Arizona Territory. He backed Marshal Earp and the forces of law and order with complete disregard of his own safety. Although hoodlums seldom dared to threaten a judge, the Clanton killer known as Johnny Ringo was capable of anything. And when Spicer clashed with Ringo in the Charlie Parks trouble, Wyatt had good reason to fear the worst.
Forgot to fill my canteen.
Yeah, ain't hardly worth a stop, Mr. Granby. But seeing it's you, I'll do it. Are you heading for the mine?
Nope. The stamp mill in Charleston.
Oh, don't neither of you move or make a sound. Keep them covered. All right, Charlie, let's go.
Payroll. Where's Marshal Earp?
Well, he's checking the saloons at this time of night. Oh, Lord. Did you hear one of them say Charlie? Yeah. I think I know Charlie. I gotta tell Mr. Earp.
Are you certain it was Charlie Parks of the Clanton outfit?
I swear it, Marshal.
How about you, Mr. Granby?
Well, he fit the description of Parks, but I don't know Parks. Both of these men wore masks.
I can take an oath it was Parks.
Mr. Granby, you say you lost $4,500?
Yep, in 10s and 20s.
Oh, does your office have a number list on these bills?
Well, we list about 1 in 10.
Help a lot. Now, you tell me exactly what happened.
Well, I was on my
When
water
I saw
wagon, and he
Porter-
wanted me to fill his canteen, and I got up and I went around back of the wagon to fill the canteen, and a guy stepped out there with a gun that long right in my back, scared me to death.
You've got to quit hanging around, Charlie. I like several of Clanton's men. Getting particular about one is trouble. Bad trouble.
I thought you meant it. About, going to Denver?
How can I do that? I'm in business with old man Clanton.
Some business. Hiding robbery loot. Fencing jewelry and Mexican gold.
It pays, Charlie.
You want to wind up in jail? Or dead?
Act your age. I can't run out, and you know it.
I'll marry you.
Huh.
John Ringo is my first cousin. You say the word, John will talk to old man Clanton. Ask him to let you out.
Ringo wouldn't let you marry me. Quick, in the other room. Just a moment. Who is it?
Your laundry, Miss Alma. Everything went fine.
It's all right, Charlie.
More loot?
Don't act so shocked. You're not so pure. You help Ringo and Clanton steal cattle. Here, the 200 I owe you.
I don't care about that.
Take it. Now get out.
But Alma, honey.
Don't honey me. I ain't sweet. Good night, Mr. Parks.
Get in and sit down. That's him. That's him. That's Charlie Parks.
You better start talking, mister.
I got nothing to say.
Mr. Parks, you were carrying 4 $20 bills. They were taken from the robbery tonight. Where'd you get them?
They blew down the street, and I picked him up. Johnny Ringo's my first cousin. He won't like this.
Put him in there for the night, Mr. Gibbs.
Come on, bud.
Can you imagine that? $20 bills blowing down the street in Tombstone. And me up on a war wagon.
Now, Ringo, got you hold of your temper. I'll get young Parks out and hire him a lawyer. Getting mad at Judge Spicer, that don't make sense.
Charlie Parks wasn't in on that heist.
Then Spicer'll turn him loose.
I ain't beholden to no judge. A man has to take up for his kinfolk. And I'm making sure Charlie don't get railroaded.
I'm tired of nursing you, Johnny. You get in trouble this time, you get yourself out.
Some of my hoodlum friends think you have the wrong man on that payroll heist.
Parks was carrying some of the stolen money.
Granted. Spouter will testify it was Parks. But if I know Charlie Parks, he wouldn't do anything without cousin John Ringo.
And what about that girl he's been seeing?
Well, if you're referring to Miss Alma Ross, the sweetheart of the Clantons, let me tell you, Wyatt, a drone like Charlie wouldn't aspire to the queen bee. And if he did, Ringo would stop him.
You think Ringo will try to bust him out?
Bound to, Wyatt, bound to.
You better stay awake until Judge Spicer gets here. I may need you.
All right.
Judge Spicer?
That's right.
Johnny Ringo gave me a message to give you. He says to turn Charlie Parks loose.
Who's Charlie Parks?
Turn him loose. That's all he said.
Come on.
Where does Ringo think he's going to get threatening me?
Sir, when Ringo loses his temper, he doesn't think.
Well, bring in this Charlie Parks, huh?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parks, this is only a preliminary hearing. You can plead guilty or not guilty or refuse to say anything at all.
I'm not saying nothing.
Very well. The court will set bail in the sum of $5,000. Do you have it? Marshal Earp, return the prisoner to jail.
Yes, sir.
This court is adjourned.
Hello.
I only heard enough evidence to justify holding Parks. The robbery was at night, the robbers were masked.
Well, I'm not sure that he was in on the job. Spotter could have been mistaken because of the masks.
Well, then why would Ringo threaten me?
Sir, Ringo once killed a man because he ordered beer when he ordered whiskey. He isn't exactly logical.
Well, I have a case to hear in Charleston. I'll be back tomorrow.
I wish you'd postpone it.
Why, because of Ringo? Nonsense. I've been threatened before.
Sir, then let me go along, huh?
No, you stay here and work on a Parks matter. I can take care of myself.
Yes, sir.
But thanks, Wyatt.
Well, there isn't any sense in arguing with Judge Spicer. We'll just have to trail him. Here. Mr. Gibbs. You ready?
Yep. He doesn't even ask where. We might have some shooting with Johnny Ringo.
Suits me.
Come on.
Marshal Earp, my name is Ross. Alma Ross.
Well, is it anything important, ma'am? We're in kind of a hurry.
I'd like to see Charlie Parks.
Well, you can see him in about 3 hours.
Marshal Earp, I know something about the law. Any prisoner has the right to have a visitor.
Don't rile him, Miss Alma. He's quite impervious to your charm or your scorn.
If you come back later, you can see him then.
Order! Court's in session.
Well, so now you're going to try me.
Just like you tried Charlie Parks.
I told you I didn't try him. It was only a preliminary hearing.
Well, I'll do the same thing, Judge. I'll give you a preliminary hearing. Order! Nothing funny about this. Is there, Judge?
No, there isn't.
Untie him, so he can raise his right hand and swear to tell the truth.
I think you know I'll tell the truth.
All right. Now, what evidence you got against my cousin Charlie?
Well, they grabbed him here. Headed for Apache Rock. Come on. As I said, the evidence against Mr. Parks thus far is circumstantial.
What does that mean?
When Parks was arrested, he had 4 bills from the stolen payroll on him. He refused to explain them.
Yeah, but who saw Charlie in that heist?
There is an eyewitness, Ringo. But the bandits wore masks, and I'm not convinced he's right.
Well, then you're holding Charlie just because of the money.
Not altogether. Your message ordering me to turn him loose was conclusive.
Huh?
I mean that any orders coming from a hoodlum like you shows that something's rotten. If Parks is not guilty, why should you risk a charge of abduction and contempt of court?
He's talked too long, Johnny. Let's hang him and get away from here.
Order! I want to say something to big man Spicer. You called me a hoodlum. Well, I wouldn't treat a dog the way you've acted about Charlie.
You deny he was in that holdup?
I sure do. Charlie don't do nothing without my say-so.
Yeah, that's right.
Order! Now, this court is going to ask you one last question, Judge. You going to turn Charlie loose?
Not until he's had his trial.
I'll crease Ringo's skull, and we'll jump him.
All right. I reckon I better pass sentence. Formal-like. Hold it!
Throw down your guns. Unbuckle them. Come on, wake up, Ringo. Wake up. Come on, wake up. Doc, give me a hand. We'll walk him around.
You take care of them.
Come on. Stand on your feet.
I'm gonna gun Ringo for this.
I claim priority.
You'll do nothing of the sort.
But he tried to kill you, sir.
This man is guilty of abduction and contempt of court, but he can't be gunned for that. And what I say applies to you, Dr. Holliday.
Holiday.
It is, Doc. I'll shoot it out with any one of you.
Sit down.
He's a sweet character, ain't he?
He says Parks is innocent, and he seems sincere in his reasoning.
Sincere? Ringo?
Judges, we save you from getting shot, and all you keep thinking about is justice for Charlie Parks.
Ringo will get away with this attempt, sir. He'll demand a change of venue from your court. You'll have to grant it.
That's right. One of them Clanton judges will acquit him for sure.
That isn't the point.
What is the point?
Wyatt has a crime of armed robbery to solve. Now, if Parks goes to court, he could be convicted just because he's a hoodlum. Now, do you want that?
No, sir.
Well, then act like it. And you, Dr. Holliday, must I remind you that you once stood trial on a framed-up charge?
I stand reproved, Your Honor.
Very well. Now, take these men to jail. There's time yet to work on the robbery.
Yes, sir. May I ask where you're going?
To Charleston. I have to hear a case there, remember? I'm more than an hour late now.
Wyatt, I think maybe we better solve that payroll heist another way.
You know, I think you're right. Come on.
You've got a nerve.
You going someplace, Miss Alma?
Get out of here.
I told you she'd try this, Wyatt.
Miss Alma, you're under arrest.
That's a laugh.
Doc, you take her over there and sit her down. Mr. Gibbs and I'll turn this place inside out.
My pleasure.
Shotgun, take that room.
Tearing down the hotel, Wyatt?
No. We have enough evidence now.
What? There's a walled-up closet in there. Just looky here. And she had this and a hollered-out bedpost. Just take a look.
From Mexico, no doubt. All those jewels and you two? It's quite a treasure, Wyatt.
Funny man.
Miss Alma, did you plant those payroll banknotes on Charlie?
What do you take me for? I owed Charlie $200 and I paid him. How did I know the mine kept the numbers?
I don't suppose you'd care to tell us who pulled the robbery.
You haven't proved anything.
A young lady living in the middle of all these here stolen goods, worth thousands.
I'll explain it all in court, Mr. John Law.
Now, this is a story I simply must hear.
Come on.
You got something, Doc?
I warned Ringo plain to his face. Kidnapping a judge, threatening to hang him. Why, I never heard of such tomfoolery.
What do we do about it?
That part's easy. We have him changed to one of our own judges. It's the girl I'm worried about.
You mean Alma?
Earp caught her red-handed. All kinds of stuff in her room.
Well, pretty girl collects presents.
Not robbery loot, Mr. Clanton.
You just defend her, Baxter. That's what you paid for.
You gonna let Spicer try her?
He's a man, ain't he? You know Alma.
Well, all right.
No slip-ups now. I need that gal. Best hand in the outfit comes to selling goods.
You know what? I was just trying to imagine old man Clanton's face. He must be apoplectic by now.
It's no use, Doc. I got 3 people in jail, and I still haven't found the men that held up Granby.
That's quite true, Deacon.
You said that Ringo wouldn't like it if Charlie was sweet on Miss Alma.
Ringo would not allow it.
Why not?
He is a bully and a tyrant. Even Ringo can't be a king without a kingdom. Charlie is his kingdom.
Well, Ringo's got plenty of followers.
They're not all cowards.
Well, thanks, Doc. I guess it's worth a try.
What is?
Well, it's just a hunch. I'll let you know if it works out.
What's wrong, Charlie? Alma cleared you. You're free. I made my bail. Cheer up.
I can't. I'm worried about Alma.
Ah, the old man will get her off.
He'd better. I want to marry her.
No. But Cousin John, I love her. I said no. Get on your horse.
Now, you must be brave and tell the truth.
It was horrible. I thought the silver things were presents. We were going to be married and have our own house and...
Mr. Baxter.
Your Honor.
The defendant asserts that she was tricked by a criminal. The court would like to know his name.
Oh, no. Please, no. He'd kill me.
Miss Ross, the court must warn you that fear of your paramour in no way lessens your responsibility before the law.
Do you expect me to risk my life?
I'm sure the court appreciates what terror this little lady has lived under. If the court please, the defense rests.
Very well. This court is adjourned till 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
What's this, Ringo?
Them 2 pulled the robbery. Passed the stuff to Alma. She gets rid of it.
Who for?
Never mind that. I gave them knockout drops. They won't know how they got here.
Fair enough.
You tell Judge Spicer he's getting off lucky. He ought to be more careful.
Your Honor, we intend to prove the
Order! Order! Marshal Earp, what's the meaning of this?
Your Honor, these men have confessed to the mine payroll robbery, and they also wish to testify against Miss Alma.
Ringo did this, I know it. Don't you dare testify against me. You hear? Don't you dare!
Order! Order in the court! Order! Order in this court!
Captain Mr. Haley, you are sentenced to 5 years in prison for armed robbery. Miss Ross, you will serve 18 months in jail at Tucson. Marshal, remove the prisoners.
Right out this way.
Good work, Mr. Earp. Oh, Mr. Earp. Call John Ringo to the bench.
Ringo? Come on up here. You want me to come and get you?
Mr. Ringo, you kidnapped and attempted to intimidate a judge of the territory of Arizona. You will be charged and tried for your crime in a higher court at Prescott. You will have a chance there to explain your actions, if you can, to a federal judge.
I just came in here to watch the trial. You can't do this to me.
I already have, Mr. Ringo. This court is adjourned.
John Bean was appointed sheriff of Cochise County through the influence of the 10% ring, for whom he performed many favors. This brought him into conflict with Marshal Wyatt Earp and many people of Tombstone. Wyatt was often tempted to kill Bean, but killing for any reason was against Wyatt's deeper principles. Bean knew this, and as a result became one of Wyatt's most dangerous enemies.
Hello, Jake.
Wyatt, I cannot see your point. They murdered Hanby and rode off with the cash box and the mail sack.
That's right, sir.
But you won't organize a posse and go after them, and that's your sworn duty.
Mr. Thacker, I'll go after those hoodlums, but not with a posse.
Why not? You took a posse after the Xanadu gang.
That was different. The Zambadoors were running for the border through strange country. Now, these men know every rock, all the water holes in all directions. I'm just not going to ask amateurs to ride into an ambush.
Well, if something isn't done fast, the main office will send a vice president down here. You see, they take it personal if one of their men is killed.
Oh, yes, I know, and I honor them for that. I used to be an old Wells Fargo man myself. Now, look, you've got a good undercover man in J.P. Ayers. You trust him?
Well, certainly.
Well, then give him a chance to identify these small-timers that pull the job. There's no sense in fighting the whole Clanton outfit.
How long will that take?
Well, sir, that depends on a lot of things.
How long, Wyatt?
Mr. Thacker, nobody can answer that exactly. It may take a week. It may just take a few days.
Well, I can't wait. Wyatt, these robberies and killings have got to be stopped.
Look, it would take 300 special agents and an act of Congress to break the Clantons, and we haven't got either one. Now, be reasonable.
I've been reasonable too long. I'll handle this case my own way.
Your own way, huh?
With a posse.
Well, I won't take them out.
You don't have to. I'm sure Sheriff Bean will be more cooperative. Good day, Marshal. Sheriff, I want a posse organized and sent after the Hanby killers right away.
A posse? What about Marshal Earp? What did he say?
The marshal said no. So I came to you. You're the sheriff.
The truth is, sir, Earp isn't too popular. I doubt that he could raise another posse right now.
Oh, he's probably waiting for the inside tip-off to the guilty men.
Well, I don't care what he's doing. The point is I want those men caught.
I see. You want to send in a report your main office will approve. And naturally, they don't like unsolved crimes.
Naturally. Do you?
No, of course not. A posse's a very good idea, Mr. Thacker. Very good. But Earp should have started on the trail while it was hot.
How big do you think that posse'd have to be, Sheriff?
I was getting to that. It would take 20 or 30 men. And the county can't afford to subsist horses and men on what could be a long chase. I'm afraid, sir...
Wells Fargo doesn't ask the county to pay its bills. We're offering a reward.
What kind?
Even so, Mr. Thacker.
$10,000 for the arrest and conviction of Hanby's killers.
10,000?
We never paid more. Now, if you're out for bounty money...
No, I'd do well to break even. And naturally, anything left over would go to my deputies.
Does that mean you'll go ahead?
Yes. I'll raise the posse and lead them. I'll need an advance, however.
Come over to the office. It's against company policy, but this is an emergency. I'll give you $1,000.
But, Sheriff, suppose you don't catch the killers. That trail is real cold by now.
Don't worry, I'll find them. You get ready to ride, Cavanaugh. What do you say, Mr. Clanton? You keep the Wells Fargo stuff. We don't have to find that anyway. You turn the men who killed Hamby over to me, and we'll split the 10,000 50-50.
Well, I'll tell you what I say. My boys never pulled that job. They got bigger things to do, and if they had, I wouldn't turn them in. Worth more than that right here.
Then pick some sort of a troublemaker. It's an easy way to get rid of a man, and I don't care who it is.
Well, I do. Never frame no man onto the gallows.
But, Papa, $5,000.
Hush up, Ike. You're a pretty poor excuse. I hate Wyatt Earp with a good, clean hatred, but I downright despise you.
Papa, keep your temper. Come on, I see you to your horse.
Don't turn your back on him, Ike.
If I find you a setup, does the 5,000 go for me?
Sure. But I'll need witnesses, too.
I can get them. But not a word to Papa. He'd kill me.
Give me credit for a little sense.
Find anything?
No. A lot of tracks, but the trail gave out. Anything happened while I was gone?
Yeah. You could have saved yourself the trip. Sheriff Ben's done already solved the case.
The Hamby killing?
Yes, sir. Brung in that young rancher, Will Morris. Says he done it.
What does Morris say?
That he didn't do it. What'd you expect?
Maybe he's telling the truth.
Just wait till you talk to him, White. He ain't got no alibi. I'm afraid they're gonna hang him for it.
I took a good look at that stage station. 3 men in the robbery. Tracked the horses about 5 miles before the trail ran out. Dr. Goodfellow says that there are bullets from both the .45 and a rifle in the body.
Sound more like the Clantons, don't it?
Where's Morris, inside?
Yeah.
I'll have a talk to him. You go get some rest.
Ben's itchy for a quick trial. Seeing that justice is done. There ain't a whole lot of time left, White.
Oh, hello, Shotgun.
Oh, how do, Miss Nellie?
Wyatt, I've got to talk to you.
It's quite late. Must be very important.
It is. This is Virginia Rollins. Her father has that silver mine out north of town.
Howdy, Miss Rollins. Won't you please sit down?
Come sit down, Virginia. Thank you, Wyatt.
I know your father. He's quite a fine man. What seems to be the trouble?
It's not about him.
Virginia tells me that Will Morris has been arrested for something that he didn't do.
Well, he was arrested, but how do you know he's not guilty?
Because he was with me when that man was held up and killed. He wouldn't tell Sheriff Ben.
Why not?
Because of my father.
You see, Wyatt, sometimes Virginia's father can be pretty unreasonable. He wants her to marry a miner, and he doesn't even want her
When he hears about this, I don't know what he'll do. He doesn't like Will. I don't care anymore. I can't let Will die.
No, Virginia.
Miss Rollins, is there anybody else who, well, might have something against your young man?
Oh, no. He works very hard on his ranch. Everyone else thinks he's wonderful, except Ike Clanton.
What's Will got to do with the Clantons?
Oh, it sounds silly, but Ike's jealous. He thinks I won't see him because of Will. So he hates Will. Threatened to shoot him once.
Old man Clanton's done a lot of awful things, but I don't think he'd go for a frame-up. Maybe if I had a talk with him.
No, he wouldn't tell you who the killers were.
Maybe not, but I might get him to stop this frame-up.
I'm not sure I want him to.
Whatever you say, Wyatt.
Miss Rollins, I want you to do me a favor. You go home and don't mention to anyone what you told me here.
But he'll die.
Now, don't worry. You can trust Wyatt.
I don't think we should upset your father unless we need to. I promise you, Mr. Morris won't die.
All right, Mr. Earp. Thank you.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Now, Mr. Morris, you say that you did not rob the Wells Fargo station. You did not kill the agent.
Yes, sir.
But you won't tell me where you were.
No, sir.
Then how can I believe you're innocent?
I guess you can't.
Mr. Morris, do you realize that you're going to hang for this? That you're going to be tried and sentenced to hang for murder?
I didn't think it was that bad.
Do you want to hang?
No, I don't want to hang. But I can't tell you where I was. I just can't.
Why not? You trying to protect somebody else?
I'm in love with this gal. I was out riding on the plateau with her last night. If her father finds out about it, there's no telling what he'll do. She'll never forgive me.
Well, she must be a real dilly of a girl. If she lets you hang, you're a fool, not a gentleman.
All right. Her name is Virginia Rollins. You can ask her about it.
I already have. She told me the whole story.
Well, then
I had to get it from you. Mr. Morris, it's quite obvious that you're being framed, but I have to find the killers. Now, I have an idea that if they think that you're going to be convicted of the murder, they'll get careless enough that I might be able to catch up with them. But I'll need time.
Well, can I help?
You can. You go on refusing to say where you were last night. Stay in jail a while longer.
You mean just pretend I'm guilty?
That's right. We may not have to use your alibi after all.
Mr. Earp, I'll do anything to keep Virginia out of this.
Wyatt! Well, you were wrong. Sheriff Bean captured that hoodlum without losing a man.
You used a posse?
No, no posse. Just Cavanaugh.
You're mistaken, Gibbs. I gave the sheriff an advance so he could hire the posse.
You gave Bean money?
$1,000.
Looks like you spent your money for nothing, Mr. Thacker.
Now, you're on the wrong track, Wyatt. He's entitled to the reward as soon as the man's convicted. Now, if he didn't need the posse, well, that's sheer luck. And it's funny he didn't mention it to me.
Yeah, it's very funny. How much more has he got coming?
9,000. The reward is 10.
$10,000. Well, Bean would frame himself for that much.
In order to get that 9,000, he's got to prove Mr. Morris guilty.
That's right. Are you suggesting that he can't prove it?
Oh, I'm not suggesting anything, Mr. Thacker. Look, why don't we talk about this some other time? You know, if Bean has framed Morris for that reward money, this is our first chance to catch him at something serious.
If we catch him.
Yeah. Hey, look, there goes Ike Clanton into the birdcage.
Yeah, and he's alone, too, ain't he? You don't suppose he's just going to meet a certain no-good sheriff in there, do you?
Yeah, he could be. Bean's too smart to let him come to the courthouse. But it's just coincidence if they happen to meet in the birdcage. Let's find out, huh?
I want the rest of the money. The boys are fidgeting.
I already gave you the 1,000 I got. You'll get the rest when I do, after the trial.
When's the trial?
No date yet. You know how to handle the boys, Ike. Keep them quiet. I'll rush the trial as much as I can.
Why rush it, Johnny? You'll hang soon enough.
Wyatt, Wells Fargo wants it settled.
Oh, yeah, Wells Fargo. Say, whatever happened to that posse you were going to hire?
I tracked the killer myself. Didn't need a posse.
What'd you do with the $1,000 Thacker gave you then?
I've still got it. Part of the reward money, you know. Perfectly legal. What are you being so sociable about, Herb?
I want you to tell me who killed Hamby. Sit down.
You got nothing on me.
Your father will have. If I tell him that you're helping Bean put a frame on young Morris.
I didn't frame anybody.
Oh, I know all about it, Ike. I know why you picked Morris, and I know that you know who killed Hamby and where they are. And I want you to lead a posse there.
Now, look. I arrested Morris on Ike's say-so. If there's been a miscarriage of justice, it's my duty to straighten things out.
Well, he says that just like a real sheriff, don't he?
Don't he?
I ain't a squealer.
But I am. And I tell your father.
You can't do that, Pop. It'd kill me.
Better chance than I'd give you.
Now, look, Sheriff Bean, we'll form a small posse with Mr. Thacker. Since you got some of the money, why don't you just come along and make the arrest?
Wyatt, I'm on good terms with the Clantons. It helps me when I collect taxes. You don't need my help to arrest those Clanton men. The old man might get sore.
Oh, no, Johnny. You don't weasel out. Shut up!
Shall we go, gentlemen? Gibbs, you circle come in from the back. Mr. Thacker, you and your man take the sides. We'll come in from the front. Let's go.
I better stay here and watch the horses.
Roscoe will watch the horses. Come on.
The law's outside.
Well, we can't make a fight here. Come on, let's make a run for the brush.
Wait! The cash box the mail's at.
Ike, run off, Wyatt.
Let him. We got what we came for.
Mr. Clanton! Mr. Clanton!
Well, what's the trouble, Dongle? Come on, spit it out.
Well, Bean double-crossed you. He arrested Jake and Homer for the Hanby killing.
Bean done that?
That's right. He led Wyatt Earp and the Wells Fargo agent right straight to the hideout, and they killed Summers.
Get the boys. We can do some killing, too.
Marshal Earp?
Yes, sir.
Remove the prisoners.
If the court please.
Yes, Sheriff.
I think the law provides that I have custody of these men.
The court does not consider you a proper custodian. Mr. Earp, take them away.
Yes, sir.
One moment, Sheriff. The court orders you to release Will Morris forthwith.
Yes, sir, right away.
Hold on. I'm not finished. You will also return the $1,000 that you accepted from Wells Fargo. You're not entitled to it.
But...
Court is adjourned.
I guess I owe you an apology.
We all make mistakes.
An innocent man could have been convicted with Wells Fargo paying $10,000 to get it done. I haven't any excuse for being so hasty, Wyatt, except the complete lawlessness of this town.
Well, I understand your position, Mr. Thacker. You have a lot of pressure from the main office. Your mistake was in tempting an unscrupulous man with your reward.
Now, that's another thing. Why haven't you arrested Bean?
Because I can't prove that he framed Morris. Don't you think I'd like to nail him?
Calm down. I was just asking, Wyatt. I got the $1,000 back, the mail sacked, the cash box, and the men are in jail. I can't complain.
What are you doing here?
They're in town. Old man Clanton and his top guns.
So what's so unusual about that?
They sent for me to come to the birdcage. They mean to kill me.
Well, now, why shouldn't they, from their point of view?
You tricked me into leading that posse and arresting Clanton's men, Wyatt. You can't let him kill me.
Well, Sheriff, I see you got the message. Clanton's gonna gun him, Wyatt. And I say good riddance. He brung it on himself.
Where's Ike Clanton?
Cosmopolitan Hotel. He's afraid to go home, and I don't blame him.
What are you gonna do, Wyatt?
Mr. Gibbs, you go on over to the Cosmopolitan Hotel and see that Ike doesn't leave that room. You get in a cell.
A cell?
You asking my help or not? Get in a cell. The Clantons won't look for you there.
All right. I'll wait there.
Where you going, Wyatt?
Don't you worry about that. You just keep Ike in that room.
He deserves to be killed. I'd have shot him myself, but he won't go for a gun. Bean's gotta die, ain't he, Wyatt?
We all have to die sometime, Mr. Gibbs.
You were tempted to let them gun Bean.
Yes, I was.
But how can you save him?
Well, I have to try. Can't let Clanton shoot at us, Sheriff. Even to get rid of Bean.
Well, Bean ain't in the courthouse, or in his hotel, or in any saloon. You reckon he's spooked?
He ain't got no place to run to, boss.
Where could he go? Well, get your guns. We'll find him. Let's go. Uh-oh. Hold on a minute. Evening, Herb.
Evening, Mr. Clanton.
Me and the boys are in town to do you a big favor, Sonny. Can't tell you what it is just yet.
Ike is mighty sick, Mr. Clanton.
Sick? What's wrong with him?
Dr. Goodfellow doesn't know. But Ike would like to see you.
Well, where's he at?
Cosmopolitan Hotel.
Well, I'll have to go now. You fellow just sit a while. I won't be long.
After I found out he tried to frame Will Morris for half the reward money, I threatened to tell you. So he agreed to turn in Hamby's killers. You can't blame Bean for that. I forced Bean to go along.
This true, Ike? You gonna tell this around?
No. Only reason I told you is so you wouldn't kill Bean.
You're the Lord's own fool, Herb. Bean hates you. He'd gun you if he had the sand. Get on your feet. Herb said you were sick. You're gonna be. Come on. If you wasn't a Johnny Law, Sonny, But thank you real kindly.
Tolerable menace to the Clantons and the 10% ring in Tucson, the time had finally come to kill him.
Wyatt, this comes straight from our undercover man at Charleston.
You heard a drunk talking?
That's right. Old man Clanton's rounding up all his top guns. There's a powwow at his ranch tonight.
Could be just a rustling raid.
No, to get you.
Clanton has too much sense to ride in here for a turkey shoot.
We can raise lots of guns, Mr. Thacker.
Well, if we have time. We'll need all the men Wells Fargo can send. This could be the showdown, Wyatt.
Mr. Thacker, I string along with Doc. Old man Clanton isn't going to bring his men into Tombstone.
But he's promised the Tucson crowd he'll kill you.
Doc?
At your service, Deacon?
You circulate among your hoodlum friends, see if you can find one of them that'll tell us what this is all about. Mr. Gibbs?
Yes, sir.
Take a tour of the saloon, see if you can find any Clanton men in town.
Right, sir.
Go ahead and blow off steam, Mr. Thacker. Do you good.
Wyatt, I tell you, the Clanton crowd is getting ready to gun you down, and you smile. You think this is a wild rumor?
No, sir, I don't.
Then let's get a posse. You need help.
Clanton isn't going to come charging up Allen Street. He'll think up something a lot slicker than that.
Ambush.
Maybe.
I'm still going to ask Wells Fargo for as many special men as they can send.
It's your company, sir.
Wyatt. I'm trying to save your life.
Thank you, sir.
Close the door, Gibbs, and lock it.
I don't know nothing, Doc.
You don't, huh? And how come Gibbs found you hanging outside the telegraph office?
Huh? Oh, I was expecting a message.
Who'd waste money wiring you? Hold that cannon on him, Gibbs.
You touch me and old man Clanton will fix you. You can't bluff me, Doc.
Rowdy used to be a telegrapher. Till he joined up with the San Badooers, tapping wires for them.
Why don't you just cut his throat, Doc?
That won't be necessary, just a little nerve surgery. I'm gonna fix it so he'll never use his hands again. Put your arm on the table.
You don't dare cut me, Doc. It's against the law.
Put your arm on the table, quick.
Doc ain't fooling, mister.
Hold that knife, Gibbs. We'll sever the elbow tendons, but a nerve section.
No, Doc, don't, please don't. I'll tell you.
Well, start talking then.
Well, old man Clanton is going to heist the stage, and then he's going to bushwhack Wyatt Earp when he comes riding in.
What stage? Where?
I don't know, Doc, so help me.
Give me that knife, Gibbs. He fainted, and I only pinched him a little. You reckon he was telling the truth?
Well, I reckon he's too scared to lie.
You know, Gibbs, a lot of my hoodlum acquaintances think that I'm a surgeon as well as being a dentist. It's a wonder he didn't die of fright. We'd better get out of here.
Ain't we gonna tell Wyatt, Doc?
Not yet. When Clanton sets up a bushwhack like this, it calls for some accurate killing. I'm sending for Morgan Earp and some good guns.
Doc, them Clantons is long past due.
You go on with your patrol. We'll break the news to Wyatt after I send the telegrams.
Right.
Who is it?
Morgan Earp, Doc.
All right, then I won't shoot you. Come on in.
How are you, Doc?
I'm fine. Fine.
You send this telegram? If I want Wyatt to live, I'll hurry to Tombstone?
Yep.
Virgil told me not to pay any attention to it. He said you must have been drinking.
Morgan, you can get 10 to 1 that Wyatt will be buried in Boot Hill Cemetery by sundown tomorrow.
You mean it? Who's after him?
The whole Clanton outfit. Ringo, Brocious, the McLowry, Spence, Stillwell. The finest collection of six-gun talent ever assembled.
Wyatt want to fight him alone?
No, he just doesn't believe it. The Wells Fargo people have told him. I've told him. Maybe he'll believe you.
I don't know. I'm just a little brother.
Yes.
Have you sent for help?
I certainly have. Morgan, this is the showdown. Either you convince Wyatt he's going to be killed, or he will be killed.
Oh, no.
Hi, big brother.
You're kind of traveling fast company, aren't you?
I can shoot.
Doc send for you?
You can tell him, Morgan.
He says there's bad trouble here, Wyatt.
Well, now, Doctor, Holiday just could be wrong, you know. Anyway, welcome to Tombstone. It's good to see you. I'll get washed up and we'll grab a bite of supper, huh?
Doc doesn't spread false alarms.
How's your trip?
Pretty fair?
We won't wear our guns because Wyatt might get sore about it. This is the place we meet Doc Holliday.
Feed 'em and water 'em. We're waiting for Doc Holliday.
Wyatt?
Yeah?
Where are you supposed to be dry gulched?
Skeleton Canyon, Doc says. Wells Fargo stage is to be robbed there. Their agent wants to call out the cavalry.
What's so funny about that?
I'd look awful funny, wouldn't I? Taking men into Skeleton Canyon, nothing happened.
What if it does?
I'd still look awful funny. Marshal riding into an ambush.
Look, if Clanton is after you, what are you gonna do? Wait for the bullet?
Sit down. All right, get out.
Curly, take your boys back up there in the brush. Now, no fires, no moving around to visit here. Papa says Earp can't get here till noon.
Why don't we shoot him? Papa says do it smart. All this is only bait. He wants Earp and his posse off of them horses and questioning these fellas before we move in.
Like setting ducks on a pond, huh?
Yeah, about time.
You boys tote that money box and that mail pouch upside of the hill. We'll whack it up while we're waiting.
Come on, let's go.
Make the time pass quicker.
Wyatt, the Skeleton Canyon stage is now 2 hours late at Station 5.
What are we waiting for? We should be on our way to the canyon.
I don't think we ought to go out there.
What?
Old man Clanton won't be taking part in that robbery.
Correct. He'll plan it, but he won't be there.
Nobody else can control the top guns.
Well, that's smart thinking, Wyatt. They ain't on his payroll.
Well, I think that they'll wait maybe till 1 o'clock, and they'll decide that I've been tipped off, and the ambush is sour.
I suppose they'll just go home, eh?
Now, sir, I think they'll probably go to Charleston or Galeyville and
spend a little of that loot they took from the holdup.
Well, now, what do you propose?
I think we should take all hands out to the Clanton Ranch.
Old man Clanton's home place?
We can grab them as they straggle back.
Well, that's nonsense, Wyatt. We'd be boxed in the center of Clanton's domain.
John, I just don't like the way you think.
Oh, you don't, eh?
No, I like Wyatt's idea. It shows a tremendous understanding of the hoodlum mind. It's a bold strategy.
It's bold, all right. That's for sure.
Well, if it works, old man Clanton will be spitting 10-penny nails.
I'll go along with you, Wyatt. And so will my friends. The whole plan amuses me.
We can't back you. It's too dangerous.
It's not as dangerous as fighting bushwhackers.
Yeah, at least we'd be fighting from behind walls.
Yeah. The walls of Clanton's own house.
No. No, the risk is prohibitive.
All right, Mr. Thacker. I can't urge you. It is risky. Morgan, you make sure you get a good horse. I think we ought to get out there before 1 o'clock. Mr. Gibbs, make sure that everybody has a Winchester and a handgun.
I'll get some extra bandoliers from Spangenberg's gun store.
Right.
Well, Wyatt, if you're that determined, you really better count Wells Fargo in.
Thank you, Mr. Thacker. The Clantons have needed a dose of their own medicine for a long while. Come on, Doc.
Yes, sir, it's a dandy. Now, just take a look at it out here, Mr. Clanton, where you can see it in the sunlight. Here, I'll take your hat.
By Jove, this is a dandy, all right. Ooh, Emma ought to like this one. She's been fussing at me all year to get myself a new hat.
Is that so? Well, it's the finest we have in the store, Mr. Clanton, the very finest. Say, looks like Marshal Earp's taking a posse somewheres.
They're just wasting tax money again.
Oh, not this time, Mr. Clanton. You see, there was a stage hold-up in Skeleton Canyon this morning. Wells Fargo.
Oh, you don't say.
Oh, yes, sir. But Marshal Earp will catch 'em all right. Yes, sir, I just can't get over it. That's the best-looking hat I ever did see. Looks just fine, Mr. Clanton. Just fine.
Well, I'll take it. How much?
See, that's funny. They're going the wrong way.
Well, that sure and tarnation ain't the road to Skeleton Canyon.
Must be something bigger going on, huh?
Something bigger? You're a blasted fool, Sidney. That Earp's an even bigger one.
Oh, you. Any sign of Earp yet?
It's almost 2 o'clock. Your old man was wrong. Earp ain't coming.
You reckon he was tipped?
A good John Law can smell a bushwhacking. He's good. I'm leaving.
Girlie, Papa's gonna be sore.
Let him be sore.
Look, we robbed Wells Fargo and the United States Mail. He's got to bring a posse.
He was tipped. Anyway, we missed.
Papa's right-hand man, Ike.
You know, I don't think much of bushwhacking anyhow.
Why didn't you offer the gun, Earp?
You know why. He wears a U.S. star.
You're scared, Earp.
You disobeying Papa's orders, Curly?
I'll do anything he says it's sensible. It ain't sensible waiting out here in the brush forever. I'm going to Galeyville. Any of you boys want to keep me company?
I'll go.
Eddie, you just try it.
I'll go with you, Curly.
Bushwhacked by Earp.
Mr. Gibbs, you and I will move in first. Doc, you and Mr. Thacker come in with half the men on a 3-shot signal. Morgan? Brother? You wait here 5 minutes. Make sure that nobody comes in on the North Trail. Then you take the rest of the men and move in and join us.
Wyatt, we could be outnumbered awfully fast. You still asking us not to shoot to kill?
No. My plan doesn't work out and we're jumped by too many Clantons. Every man will have to decide for himself what has to be done.
Fair enough.
Let's go.
Drop him! He said drop him!
Take the guns.
Hold it!
Come here. Anybody else here?
Not right now.
We'll find out. Watch it. It's all clear inside. Take them on in hog time. I'll signal the others.
March in.
All right, now, Mr. Thacker, you and your men take the bunkhouse. Doc, you and your gunfighters, you hold the main barn over here. I think you can make it fairly tight with hay bales.
Right.
The rest of us will try to hold the main house. That'll give us 3 sides to a square, and I want all the horses out of sight. I'm hoping that the old man will come in with a small party.
Don't think you'll surrender, huh?
No, he'll fight. Now, my big hope is that the rest of the outfit will straggle in. We'll take them group by group.
Too many windows for a fight, Wyatt.
We can gun them down in 5 minutes.
It may not be that easy, Morg. If it gets too hot, there's a bell here over by the cook shack. I'll shoot at that, and that'll let you know that we're retreating to the bunkhouse over here.
Last stand at the Alamo. Don't even count on seeing us. I can't run, and Wyatt won't.
Dust cloud from the north. You better take your station.
Let's go. Lock that door. You men take those windows, Morgan.
Ain't no loyalty in nobody anymore. I ought to fire them boys and kill that Brooches.
Now, Papa, Earp wasn't gonna show. You said so yourself.
That ain't the point. I decide when to quit an ambush party, not Curly Brooches.
They just went to Galeyville for some fun.
If they get home, they'll have some fun.
Now, Papa, you can't blame them too much. They just...
I blame them plenty. And I'll show them big heads who's running this outfit. Get for home! Yeah! Come on here!
Here they come.
Bill Mace, feed and water the horses. Boys, I want you to know, I appreciate loyalty. I'm gonna find every man would run off $100 and whack it up amongst you men.
Good, Papa.
Hey, where are them guards?
Mr. Clanton, you and your men are under arrest.
Earp, by Joe, steps out of my own house and says I'm under arrest. Look out! Take cover, boys!
Stop it, Clanton. I got a posse here and I don't want anybody shot.
Hold it, boys. I'll take him myself.
Throw down your guns.
You no good Yankee.
Papa. They got him covered in a crossfire.
I gotta stop this fight right now. Stop shooting, boys! You hear me? Stop shooting! Herb! Call off your posse! No more shooting! Hold your fire!
Pick up the guns.
Get your hands out.
Lock him up tight. Good fight, brother.
Just fair, just fair.
Too bad we didn't get the rest of them.
Why, who isn't here?
Oh, McLaury's, Curly Brocious, Johnny Ringo, a few others. All we have are these. The old man, Ike and Finn.
Well, at least we got them.
Mr. Clanton, I'm going to charge you with that holdup at Skeleton Canyon.
Skeleton Canyon. Charge away, Earp. You can't prove nothing. But as long as there's a Clanton, you'll remember this day shooting at me from my own house.
What's the matter, Clanton? Don't you like being bushwhacked?
Well, now, I don't think he hates being bushwhacked as much as being plain outfigured, Doc.
He'll get used to it. Eh, boys?
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be